Okay, here we are with our next guest for this September 28th, Wednesday at Otto's Shrunken Head. To be heard. So, tell me, Mr. To Be Heard.
His name's Roland.
Yeah, Roland, but even so, he told me that he is very able to be heard.
On occasion, yes.
And once you get rolling, Roland.
What would you like me to roll on?
Spoken word. Can you do a little bit?
I can talk about spoken word, sure.
And you have a film.
I have a new documentary that I've made with 3 co-directors / co-producers. We've been working on it for 6 years now.
How'd you meet them?
Well, one skeleton in my closet, which is not really a big skeleton.
A preliminary skeleton.
I'm one of the characters in the documentary. So the film, the way the film came about is that 2 of us who were in the film also ended up becoming the director-producers. So
all right, so that happens. Like, a receptionist turns into the next casting director.
Exactly.
It's the nature of the game.
And
But
spoken word has been a part of my life for many, many years. I'm on the board of directors of the New York Poets Cafe.
Oh, I love that place.
Thank you.
That's an
We've
amazing
been
spot.
around for 37 years now. And the Poetry Slam, which was not invented at the cafe.
Isn't it weird, though? Were you there 37 years ago?
Not as a member of the board of directors, but as a poet.
See, so you are going to do something.
I might have. I don't know.
Even like a haiku?
Haikus are against my religion.
Are they really?
They're too long.
Oh, so even a one-liner?
Maybe. I might do something. I might quote a famous poet.
That's fine. I have Allen Ginsberg's birthday, so I always feel it entitles me to be like blood related to.
What day is that? May something?
Close. June 3rd. Very close. When's your birthday?
May 6th.
Okay.
So, anyway, this documentary is about 3 youngsters from the Bronx.
And I'm born in the Bronx. I feel a connection.
Where were you born in?
Lebanon Hospital.
Okay. Well, these kids live mostly in the South Bronx.
Okay.
And they went to school at a place called University Heights High School.
Okay.
And one day they wandered into a very different kind of poetry class. Not a class that was about teaching poetry. Not a class that was about teaching poetry in a traditional sense, but about using poetry as a tool or as a weapon in your everyday life. It's much more about empowerment through language.
Right.
So the film is the story of these 3 kids.
What are their names?
Anthony, Pearl, and Karina. And their stories are told and woven into this tale of empowerment.
So how old were they when the film began, and how old are they when it ends?
Well, they're probably about 16, 17 years old when the film begins.
Right.
And when it ends, they're about 21, 22 years old.
Okay.
So it's an interesting slice of their lives and how they changed through that process of writing and learning to speak.
Now, at this school, were they the only 3 in the program, or were they the only 3 that you chose for the film?
So the question is, how did they end up being the focus of the
chosen
film?
3.
Well, when you make a documentary, one of the things that you really want to do is tell as strong a story as you can tell. And often documentaries, when they have multiple characters, tend to have separate storylines that kind of get slammed into each other, and they're not necessarily woven together well. We were lucky. We had lots of kids who were really amazing poets.
I'm sure.
And these kids were great poets, but there were plenty of others. What distinguished them was that they also had a deep friendship with one another.
Okay.
So we were able to use that as a way to layer something more profound into the story about the nature of how language supports friendship and relationships.
Now, were their families involved as well?
Their families were involved peripherally. They're part of the subject matter of the film.
I'm sure.
Moms were definitely involved. One dad appears in the film.
Okay. And so do you feel like non-blood family with these kids now?
I'm in love with all the kids I teach.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Oh, you're a teacher?
That's how I...
Oh, so you teach in the Bronx at that school, University
Are
Heights.
you the teacher in the class that they're all taking?
There are 3 of us. We don't really we're not official board
So
of
are you
ed
like
teachers.
sir?
No, I'm not like sir or to sir. There's no sir in it.
Yeah.
The kids, we don't really see ourselves as teachers in the formal sense of the word. We would be called...
Where's the address in the Bronx?
Visiting guest artists. Have you guys ever heard of Bronx Community College?
Well, I've heard of it.
Okay, it's up in the sort of It's that strange dome building that when you go up on the East River Drive, you see it's beautiful. Looks like an observatory.
Okay,
and
I think
it's,
I know it.
It's about
How far from the
170.
Yankee Stadium?
I can't tell you, but it's about 175th Street.
See, my mother grew up on 169th Street
Okay,
and the
so-
Grand Concourse.
so it's
Between
not that
Jerome
far.
and the Grand Concourse.
That's spitting distance. From
Yeah,
us.
that's the neighborhood I knew.
And these kids were in a school that was located on the campus of Bronx Community College, and it was unique in that very few public schools get to be located on college campuses. And this was a beautiful college campus.
Well, the Bronx, you know. Where are you from?
Manhattan.
Born?
Born and raised in
What hospital?
Manhattan.
I'm always in
New York Hospital.
That's where my kids were born. New
Okay.
York Hospital. Yeah.
Probably not on the same day.
I doubt it, but you never know.
So
No, you're May 6th. It wasn't the same day.
probably not the same year.
Ah.
So what would you like to know about the
I want to know about the film. I heard it's opening at the IFC
Yes.
Theater.
The film had its festival premiere last November at Dock NYC.
Isn't it funny how everything overnight takes so long?
It really takes a long time.
Everything
But if
takes
you
so
wanna
much
do
longer.
something good. you
It's
gotta
okay. Patience. Well, I think every saying, every, what are those called again? Those things like patience is a virtue.
Perseverance.
No, but those, what are those called? They're,
Colloquial.
That's not it. But
7 deadly sins.
everything is true, is what I'm saying.
Everything is true.
Yeah.
Everything is true.
I live by fortune cookies. So the movie's opening October 12th
Yep, at the IFC we're going to have at least
on
a week.
6th Avenue.
6th Avenue, 3rd Street, the old Waverly Theater. We're
Right.
going to have a run there of at least a week. And we're going to be opening in LA on November 4th.
Wow.
And we will be, a 1 hour long version of our film will be on PBS starting in July.
What theater in LA?
The Lemley Music Hall. So all of you potters out there who are in LA, look for it there.
So PBS is going to show
Yes, we...
snippets? Or?
No. The PBS actually funded the lion's share of the production of this film.
Oh,
through
good for
something
you.
called ITBS. And
I've heard of Lion's Share.
lion's share, that means like a lot. Like that I would have to eat all of that to have the lion's share.
Good for you.
But I don't have a skeleton. My husband nearly big enough.
Well, that's good because, you know.
So PBS, through an organization called ITBS, funded our project, and
How'd that happen?
it
Magic
happened.
wand?
I wish it was a magic wand. It's a competitive process. You send in your film and a proposal, and twice a year they review it, and about 1,000 films submit each year. 8 are chosen each time.
Good for
And-
you.
and
So we applied 5 times in a row, and we made it to the last round each of those 5 times.
Perseverance.
And only on the 5th time did we finally make it through.
But
How old are the kids
I was
now?
going to just add, and your awesome colleague Deborah Schaefer is an Academy Award-winning.
Thank you for
Filmmaker.
reminding me. My awesome
Yeah.
colleague Deborah Schaefer is an Academy Award-winning documentarian who did a short documentary called Witness to War back in the 1980s. That's a brilliant little film about a doctor who took care of wounded and ill people during the Salvadoran troubles. But being an Academy Award filmmaker did not help us get any support from ITBS. It's a very tough, some would say fickle and random process.
Well, is it everything?
I guess everything.
No, but
is-
they're good.
I mean,
yeah, they're good people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't yet found anything that's not fickle.
Okay, I don't know where to go with that, but I would agree. Life is random.
It's totally fickle.
Totally.
I agree. And today is Ask a Stupid Question Day. So
Do I get to ask the
you
question?
can, yeah, anybody can.
You ask.
All right. What color underwear are you wearing?
I'm not wearing underwear.
Oh.
So we'd have to say flesh tone.
So is that your skeleton?
You know, if that will get me a cookie, that's my skeleton. Yes. Does that work for you?
Yeah,
All
that
right.
works for me.
I'm not wearing
Because I know you're coming back on October 12th
But
with
I
some
won't
of
be
these
wearing underwear then.
And yeah, well, we'll ask you something better and deeper than that.
Something deeper, I hope. Yeah.
Ooh, well, without underwear, you know. I don't know, mister. So we're going to take a quick break. You can eat that, and then we're going to talk more about the film. How's that?
Cool.
All right, we'll be right back.
Make you feel brand new.